Hi, everyone. We're back here with what I think is going to be our highlight of our coverage of the Imagine conference here for Automation Anywhere in the beautiful Conrad Resort in Orlando. I want to introduce you to Mihir Shukla. Mihir is the CEO, co-founder of Automation Anywhere. He's doing this 20 years. Right? For a lot of you watching this out there, you may not have even been working 20 years, let alone at one company 20 years. At my age, I could relate. But Mihir, welcome to TechStrong TV.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So let's start right off with that. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Talk about the vision 20 years ago. How's it changed? How's it stayed the same? When you get out of bed every morning, what still gets you excited?
Yeah, that's a great place to start. From day one to today, the mission has been the same. What has changed is along the way we had to invent few technologies. Some technologies got better in the industry overall. And as a result, we are able to achieve our mission better and better every day. And that mission was to reimagine how work happens. Prior to Automation Anywhere, I had a chance to do 4 different multi-billion-dollar journey. And by the time I had seen a huge part of the world, and I saw a part of the world where 70% of knowledge workers were sitting in a cubicles and doing work that you felt weren't the human jobs, and they could do so much better if you unleash human potential. And I grew up in a small town in India, and from my own experience, I knew that talent is evenly distributed, opportunity is not. And the opportunity that was made available to me made many things possible for me. So I didn't have to read a book to know that. It's my own life's experience, lived experience. So the goal was to invent a set of technologies that take computers to the next level in how automation and AI can do things. And in doing so, the bigger vision was, could we reallocate intellectual capacity of the planet to more worthy causes? What if we don't have to process invoices and claims and few other things? Could we be doing something more exciting, more fulfilling with our lives? And so with that objective, we started. And more than 20 years later, here we are. I get up every day, and how often you get to help reallocate intellectual property capacity of the planet?
You know, I always say, I'm not multi-billion, unfortunately, but I've done 4 or 5 venture startups, founded, co-founded. And I firmly believe that every founder in their heart believes that in some way, what they're doing is making the world better. The vision you've enunciated here, this is in a small way. This is in a big way, right? Free us up from doing these repetitive, I want to call them low value, or they're not low value. You know, we interviewed one of your customers from AlightNet, Alight, I believe they're here. These are people who are processing people's benefits, medical benefits, health claims, mission critical, life and death.
That's right.
They're doing so much with automation and Automation Anywhere to speed that up, to allow people to go do higher value things. And these claims can just get processed automatically. We've all been there. You submit a doctor's bill and you got to wait 30, 45, 60 days for it to go through. Not with automation. Now, of course, this past year, you've been in business as long as I have. This is sort of a high watermark, a threshold year where we're starting to see maybe people's visions for what AI can be become real.
Yes.
This whole new thing, agentic process automation, APA.
Yes.
Talk about how that's fundamentally changed RPA, BPA, and all of that, and how, frankly, it's fundamentally changed your company.
Yeah. In general, my view, having done technologies for many years, is that technologies take a huge step change. So if you look at last many years, what we have been able to do is use RPA, robotic process automation, document automation, and task mining, and various other capabilities as part of the automation platform. What all of these capabilities were able to do combine is they were often able to automate 40% of the processes. But the other 60% were left were still manual. Suddenly, with the power of generative AI coming in, you were now able to take what was 40%, sometimes all the way to 100% or 80%. So just one new ingredient completely changed the value proposition of what is now possible. Not by itself, but in combination of everything else that existed before, and when you add this ingredient, it changes the game.
To me, it's almost like for people who are into cars, they sell that STP. I don't know if you're familiar, STP gas additive. You add it to your gasoline and it boosts the octane.
That's right. That's a good one.
That to me is what we've done here. You already had gasoline, but we just put in some extra octane that takes this thing off. And it's an important, we can't emphasize how important that is, right? This is game-changing kind of stuff. But yet there's more. Wait, there's more, right? People are talking about artificial general intelligence.
Yes.
And I'm not here saying it's going to be next year or 5 years or whatever. I don't play that game.
Okay, yeah.
But you don't have to get that big AGI, if you will, to have an AGI sort of influence in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I'm with you there. I'm not a big fan of word AGI by itself because it's an abstract concept with you have no idea what that even means. But I think if you define a general intelligence in context of specific purpose. So, for example, if you have an intelligence for a self-driving car, it's very, very clear. Does car have enough intelligence to drive itself? Yes or no? Right. So similarly, what we are focused on is that can we develop enough general intelligence to do vast amount of work, as we call it, for a knowledge worker. So can we give one of our software mortgage applications to process and claims to process and supply chain and tax and audits and vendors and a vast amount of these things that can you just give it to this system and it has enough understanding of how to do this. Now, defined that way, it looks possible to achieve it. And we recently announced that we took a step closer to it, towards it. And it is amazing to see how fast that is moving. And you're never sure, but that day looks closer now than it looked a few years ago.
It's not. I say the same thing about quantum. When they first started talking about quantum computing, I said I'm not going to be alive by the time. But all of a sudden, I would not be surprised if quantum's here in 2028 or 2029 even.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing.
Same thing here. Yeah.
Same thing. All of a sudden, that horizon's gotten a lot closer.
That's correct.
So Mihir, we're sitting here at this conference, beautiful conference center. You could feel an excitement when you go down by the stages and in the area.
Yeah.
For you, what are the big stories for Imagine this year? What's the big message?
I think this year, as you said, was very pivotal for us. And we announced 3 huge announcements that moves the category significantly forward. The first one was an announcement to a significantly expanded agentic process automation platform. It's one unique element among about 100 other features. That unique element is a process reasoning engine.
Yes.
It's a very powerful capability. It works the way enterprises need it to work, which is in context of my enterprise, in context of my past information, in context of regulatory environment, reason what I should do at this point in time. And that process reasoning engine is what every enterprise needs. And it is the engine that will power all enterprise processes. And we announced the capability of how far this reasoning engine has come and how transformative it will be for work. The second announcement we made was an availability of agentic solutions. These solutions are not like your typical solutions and applications that you see, or you have seen for 20, 30 years. We frankly don't like some of them because you have to often do 20 clicks to get something done. And it feel like they're designed for an era 20 years ago. I think there is an opportunity here to reimagine how this work gets done. Can you have a solution or application that is agentic first, is autonomous first, and designed with a very different mindset? So today we announced 4 different solutions and many more to follow, including many would be offered by our partners. So we are looking forward to how that transforms the industry and accelerates the journey. The third announcement we made is about a very unique set of capabilities in most cutting edge of the products and our services and partner services to create a offering called autonomous enterprise. Now this is designed not necessarily for every customer, but we have customers who come to us and say, I want to get to this vision of how future of the work is. And I want to get to a point where 70% of all my current work is either fully autonomous or assisted. Give me a choice to get there in the fastest way possible. I don't want to take the long route. I want to take a flight and get there. And so we offered with our partners combining many capabilities, and we take this to those customers to accelerate their journey even faster. So those are the 3 announcements.
Excellent. 2 more areas I wanted to touch on with you. One is, as we enter this age of agentic AI, we've seen announcements from Salesforce and ServiceNow and even some of the big hyperscalers. Yeah. Everyone recognizes that we're going to be deploying multiple agents, maybe dozens, if not more.
Sure.
This makes for chaos, right? Yeah. You need an orchestrator. You need a commander, a master agent. Yeah. Everyone has their own name for this. Now, I know Automation Anywhere recognizes this. You're also working with an orchestrator type of layer strategy. Yeah. Would you expand on, without getting too far in the weeds, but would you expand on the need for the orchestrator and why you think your company is in a good place to be the provider of?
I think it is important. You mentioned that there will be many agents, but in our view, there are 3 types of agents. The first type is personal productivity agents, and maybe many of the viewers understand that they're using one thing or the other today. The second types of agents are we call captive agents. They're specific to certain application platforms like Salesforce and ServiceNow and others, and there will be many others. But the third type of agents you call the super agent or the commander agent, that is the trick. That is the power. That is where the power lies. And Automation Anywhere is going to own that piece to orchestrate all different types of agents across multiple applications and making sure work gets done end to end. It is important for our vision to realize is that we have to break silos. We have been working in the way since a post-World War II era where everything is siloed, and that is why the work is as ineffective and boring as it has been. There is an opportunity to change it with Automation Anywhere orchestration power and some of our inherent capabilities. And we showcased that Imagine an ability to perform and orchestrate this work almost at a speed that you can give a command to, and can work happen at that pace. And yes, it is possible for work to happen at that pace if you use automation.
Excellent. And that the announcements from Imagine, this is available now or coming soon or?
Every single thing we showcased, was actual product. We showcased it. Most of them are generally available. A couple of capabilities will be generally available soon, but they were all available in beta, and customers had a chance to play with it, and that was very gratifying to see as well.
Another area I wanted to touch on with you. I speak to a lot of CEOs, big companies, startup companies. Everybody wants to be a platform. No one wants to be a product anymore. Products aren't good enough all of a sudden. I got to be a platform. Yeah. But you need products that work on a platform.
Yeah.
Why is Automation Anywhere the platform? You know, you hear talking to as many customers, there are partners here and you know, people who are doing products that work in Automation Anywhere, the professional services that work with it. Talk to me about the vision for the platform.
Yeah. I think what I want to do is make sure I mentioned this earlier, but we are the best in class platform company and always have been. But I mentioned earlier that we have announced many solutions and many more to come. So on top of being the best in class platform company that IT can use, we are now this new era of agentic solutions that a business can use. So make sure we are serving our customers, IT and business both through different offerings. If you think about for a minute, think 3 or 5 years out, because sometimes you can debate future in 3 months or 6, but it is probably all of us could agree what it looks like multi-years out. Multi-years out, the work is not going to happen the way it happens today. You are going to use, in my view, multiple LLM providers. Yes. Because no one provider can provide you everything.
It's perfect, right?
You are going to orchestrate work across multiple applications. You are going to go to the world that is as autonomous as possible and reduce reliance on manual processes. That's a goal we can all agree on, right?
Agreed.
You could depend how much, but as far as you can go, you are going to do that. And you are going to need something that can execute mission critical processes. This is not about summarizing email. That's not what everybody. You process mortgages and claims and supply chain, and you assemble planes with 100,000 parts, and these are important complex work. And you are going to need some help in doing this in a complex world. If you just mention this, if you just think about this 4 or 5 things and need to orchestrate this work, you're going to need something for it. And that something is Automation Anywhere. And it's available today.
Perfect.
There you go.
I love it. Last question, because I know you have to leave. I appreciate your time. Spend 2 days here talking to customers, product, other partners, analysts, press. Boil it down. What are you hearing from them? What's your take back from these people that you're going to turn around and say, okay, this is where we may want to double down. This is where we may have to change something. Based upon the feedback, what have you learned?
I think a couple of things. One is that they are very excited about the products that they are using today. And as a CEO of a product company, that's the first thing I want to hear, that we are delighting our customers and meeting their needs. When they heard our new vision and where we are going, they are super excited. They can't wait to try it. They can see the possibilities. And, I've seen this every year, where customers' innovation capability is just unbelievable. They can use this product in a way that you have never imagined, and they make a difference in the world we live in a way that is so gratifying for us to see. So to interact and collaborate with these customers across 18 different industries, some of the largest companies on the planet, and we can't wait to see what they will make of it. One of the key challenge is how to help everybody understand the potential of it, and how to bring this to life in every department, in every function, in hundreds of different problems that the organization has to solve, and how can AI transform it. And so our goal is to help together with us and our partners to help customers do that better every day.
Fantastic. Mihir, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with our audience. Continued success with Automation Anywhere. Can't wait for next year's Imagine, but I have a feeling between now and then, there's going to be a lot happening and going on, and it'll be interesting to look at this next year in light of what is to come.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I'll mention one thing, Alan. In a technology space, ever since I've started my career, the technology always takes longer than you expected, and sometimes a lot longer to achieve the vision that you set it up
longer
for.
than the hype.
That's correct.
Right? The hype is always out in front of it.
What is unusual about what we are up to right now with agentic process automation is it is happening faster than we have imagined.
I've never seen anything week by week, day by day.
And this is unusual even for us.
For all
Imagine the customer.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Could you imagine?
That's right.
Because if we have a few more minutes, but one of the biggest things, and I discussed this with a few people here today. There's still the human element here, and the human element here is trust.
Yes.
If the human can't trust what this agentic AI or general AI or any of them are going to do, they're not going to let it do.
Yes.
Right? And we're at this kind of awkward stage where humans are still learning to trust what the AI is doing. And so we're almost pulling the reins back, saying, it's going too fast. I don't trust it yet.
Yes.
But once we trust it.
But the trust has to be earned. So one of the things we observed is we let our customers observe how it is doing it and put human in the loop where they have a chance to validate it.
Mm-hmm.
Often what we observed is that after a person observes it for, let's say, 3 days, they get bored because this thing keeps doing the same thing again and again, and it's not as much fun.
And sometimes boring's good.
But so very soon, so one person might, after watching 3 days, say, you know what, I trust this thing, let's move on. Somebody might say, I'll watch it for 3 months and then I'll trust. Everybody does it at their own pace.
Right.
It is important for technology to earn that trust.
Absolutely. That's a great way to end this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage for Imagine 2025 here in Orlando. Many thanks to Automation Anywhere for having us here. We'll be continuing this story throughout the year because this is where it's at right now, right? This is where the rubber meets the road with AI, agentic AI, and everything else. This is Alan Schimmel. We're out. Thank you.